Hello everybody, it's Philly Kuts with another Hump Day haul, number 84. But it's not really Hump Day, it's actually Monday, April 25th. Sorry that this week's Hump Day haul is a little bit late, but I was on vacation, dudes. I was up in Burlington, Vermont, a little bit north of me, and had a great time up there, and I unfortunately was unable to get all of my comics for the haul. I was actually planning to do a Hump Day haul while I was in Burlington. You know, I was probably going to film it at a restaurant or while I was at the hotel. But I didn't. I figured I couldn't get all my books. So it is what it is. The shop that I went to was a great shop. It's called Earth Prime Comics. Right in downtown Burlington, right in the heart of Burlington. The location of the shop was great. They were having a problem with their distributor, Diamond Distribution, and they were unable to get a lot of their books in, and unfortunately, two of the books that I wanted, they didn't get in. But stay tuned, because one of these books that I want to talk about quite extensively is Dept.H, written by Matt Kindt, written and drawn by Matt Kindt, and his wife, Charlene, is doing the wonderful watercolors in here. So I'm going to be talking about that book last, and I have a lot to say about it. So stay tuned, dudes. All right, so let's talk about Aquaman. Got kind of a small haul this week, only about 6 books. But Aquaman number 51. It's turning out to be a pretty interesting story. We have dead water captured, but he's now in his human form. Dead water, it turns out, is a man, baby. It's actually a guy named Jonah Payne. So Aquaman has him in a special containment unit that won't allow any hydration to come to him. Now, I don't really know how that really is working and whatnot. I'm sure that there has to be some way that some sort of hydration can get in there. But anyway, it's kind of like a reverse waterboarding. There's a lot of talk from this man, Jonah, about how he feels like he's being tortured. You know, why are they doing this to him? He doesn't quite understand what's going on. Dead water, the monster form that he takes, and I'm going to be giving a little bit of a spoiler here because he does make an appearance later on in this issue and does battle with Mera. There he is, man. He's a pretty badass-looking eel guy. Pretty badass. He's doing battle with Merc there as well. This creature has the ability to manifest and use any amount of water as a conduit to just appear out of anywhere. Now, he's killed 13 people. And all of these people so far have a connection to Jonah Payne. Now, Jonah is claiming that he has no recollection of this. He has no recollection of turning into this creature. He has no recollection of the murders. So it's pretty cool, pretty interesting angle that we have here. It turns out, too, that Jonah has done a lot of mercenary work for, like, sea recovery and mercenary kind of work, underwater mercenary work. And this leads to a tie-in with the Scavenger and crew. Aquaman, you know, learns of this, learns of the connection with the Scavenger, heads down deep into the sea, and a confrontation ensues. There's Scavenger in a big badass, like, underwater mech. And he starts doing a number to our boy, Arthur Clarke, baby. So, lots of interesting things. I'm really happy with the writing of Dan Abnett. He's kind of worked into this story a public relations campaign that Aquaman and Mera, who is the head of this public relations campaign, they're having this campaign to have better ties with the land dwellers, you know, the earthlings, people. They want to form a stronger connection with their surface brothers. So it'll be really interesting to see where that leads. There's a couple FBI agents in this story, too, that add a lot of comic relief that Aquaman is working with to help solve this crime. And it's just working. It really is working. And I like the artwork of C. Fuentes. He's really been stepping it up, and it's just been good. So I'm happy with how Aquaman, that's a goddamn hairspray. I'm happy with how Aquaman's been going. All right, now on to Action Comics, number 51. The Final Days of Superman, number 3. I like how they have that little Superman symbol in the 3 to help keep you on track, because this story is going to be going over, spanning multiple books in true DC fashion on Superman, Action Comics, Batman, Superman, Superman, Wonder Woman. It's going to be on all of those. Superman's dying. New 52 Superman is dying, and he needs to make connections to help form a super league, it sounds like. And in this issue, he has tracked down where Supergirl has been hiding, what she's been up to. And Supergirl actually is pretty pissed off at the appearance of Superman, saying that she didn't need help, she didn't need to be rescued. Got pretty ticked off about it. So that was interesting. It kind of makes sense that Supergirl is making appearances again in DC books, considering the popularity of Supergirl, the TV series. And I guess there are several references to that series in this book that I don't really know about because I haven't been watching Supergirl. If anybody has, down below, let me know what you think, if I should start watching that on CBS. Is it on? I'm not sure. It might be on Monday nights. I forget when it's on. But it's interesting to see, you know, the mindset of Superman, what he's hoping to accomplish before he dies. You know, he's been through tons and tons of rough battles in the whole New 52 run. And I'm really going to miss him. You know, I thought that a lot of the writing that Gene Yang did was pretty good. He had a tough task. And I kind of grew attached to him a little bit. It's nice to see him with all his superpowers as well. Now, there's another story going on in here with, like, an Asian person that we've been seeing kind of on this secret missions. Has something to do with this group called the Four Pillars. I don't want to spoil anything there. And then there's also in this book a bit of comic relief with a guy that is a Clark Kent imposter actually showing up at the Daily Planet. Not really doing a good job, though, as you can see all the smoke and fire coming from his eyes. Not really doing a good job of the cover-up. And a lot of chaos ensues. I'm just going to put it at that. And some trouble in the newsroom, people. So, interesting story so far. It's probably one of the better Superman stories in the whole New 52 run. So, I recommend jumping on board with that. All right. Finally, from DC, we have Martian Manhunter, number 11. There is Mr. Biscuits dying. Death of the Family style there, or Death in the Family. That's what it reminds me of. This has been a real complicated but wonderful story written by Rob Williams. There is a new artist for the final 2 issues of this series. It was Eddie Barrows before, who has done an excellent job. Now that work has shifted to, I think, Ben Oliver, who really, I mean, it's looking great. I think he's doing an excellent job here, picking up the pen and doing the artwork. It looks pretty good. There's poor Mr. Biscuits there. I don't want to let you know what happens there, but Daryl is in a bit of trouble, one of the entities of Martian Manhunter. Essentially, Martian Manhunter and his personas, his entities that he's divided himself up into, they need to find a way to stop an ancient planet Mars from colliding into Earth. Now, before Mars collides into Earth, Martian Manhunter and crew have to get the remaining occupants of this ancient Mars onto a ship, onto a mech, actually, a giant mech, and fly them to present-day Earth to save them. All the while, they need to figure out a way to make this ancient Mars go back to its time and place. The key to all of this lies in a little Martian boy who is actually the living embodiment of Mars. Yep, as far-fetched as that is. He's this little dude here that is in a whole heap of trouble with the evil Malefic, that's the giant red guy. But this little Martian boy dude holds the key to be able to shift this planet Mars back to its proper time and place, this ancient planet Mars. Now, you do get an appearance of John Constantine and crew, Dr. Fate, Zatanna, the Demon. They're brought into the mix because they kind of use a stalling tactic. They cast a spell to help slow the descent of this planet Mars from colliding into Earth. So it's a very, very brief, I would say almost convoluted appearance by John Constantine to help out Martian Manhunter and crew from this planet colliding into Earth. But, you know, I'm sad to see this story go. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was excellent. I really enjoyed it. It was a bit hard to follow at times, but if you buy this issue and the previous issue before, it explains everything really, really well. Actually, in the previous issue, it gives a great, great rundown of the whole origin of Martian Manhunter and why he decided to split up into all these different entities, and it just spells everything out like you're in 4th grade, which is what I need sometimes. But it was pretty good. Pretty good. So check it out if you haven't. Certainly pick it up and trade. It'll probably only be in 2 volumes, but Martian Manhunter peeps. All right, now on to my one Marvel comic. I have Obi-Wan and Anakin. Charles Soule doing the writing. Mario Cicchetto doing amazing artwork. Now, I just did a video previously showcasing all my favorite covers that I'm planning to put on a wall and hopefully start filming the Hump Day Haul or at least other comic book oriented videos with that behind me. This one might have to go up on the wall, man. I'm loving this. It's like inside the head of Darth Vader with Emperor Palpatine and Obi-Wan and Anakin there. So it kind of, well, I got kind of mixed feelings about this book. I mean, the artwork is great. The story, I don't know, I feel is a bit weak. It kind of delves more into the whole seduction of Anakin by Emperor Palpatine to the dark side. And it kind of shows the backstory to that in a bit more depth. Kind of shows the lengths that Palpatine would go to, the suaviness of Palpatine to seduce the young mind of Anakin, which is pretty cool. Now, they're on this planet, what is it here, Carnelion IV. Anakin and Obi-Wan have been torn apart while they're on this planet, and each one is kind of working with a side of these warring factions. I think they were called the Open and Closed, of all things. So Anakin has actually been kidnapped by the one warring faction because he is able to, he's good with machines and technology, and he was able to help the Closed, I forget if it was the Open or Closed, he was able to help one of these factions get some of their war machinery back online. So they kind of kidnapped him, and I guess they're going to start to force him into getting this machinery back online because that will be their key to victory. We also learn who was sending out the distress signal in this story that brought Obi-Wan and Anakin to this planet in the first place. There's some pretty cool battles in this book. Really plays out almost like a high fantasy kind of book because there's lots of like these dragon creatures and stuff, and there's some underwater battles too against some vicious, I don't know, like creature of the Black Lagoon kind of insect-looking guys. So pretty interesting stuff in that regard, but doesn't really bring too much new to the table in terms of, you know, stuff that we've already known. You know, that's what the challenge, I feel, is with these books, is that we all know so much. If you've been following Star Wars growing up and stuff, we all kind of know how the story goes for a lot of these characters. So it certainly is challenging, but certainly not the worst Star Wars book I've read so far since Marvel has taken over on that. Okay, 2 Dark Horse books. First, I got BPRD Number 140. Now, this is a return to Ashley Strode by, I guess, her creator or guy who developed her heavily, Cameron Stewart, is back on writing this title. Now, I guess when we last were left with Miss Strode, she was just learning about the power of exorcism. So it'll be interesting to see how much this power has developed. It opens up like a straight-up detective story. She is hot on the trail of a guy who is practicing the black arts, people, devil worship. Now, nothing like a story of devil worship, right? Turns out that this dude is able to transform himself into some sort of demonic entity, and Miss Strode needs to pull from her trick book, her magic book, to follow this demon into another dimension. And there's some battling back and forth, and we'll have to see how it plays out. More and more revealed here. We also have a love interest of Miss Strode, and it turns out, there you go. I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. Now, I don't know. I didn't read much BPRD Hell on Earth, so I don't really know if it was ever revealed before that Ashley was gay or bisexual. I don't know. So maybe when I start reading this, it'll be revealed much more in depth. But it will also be interesting to see what key Ashley Strode has in preventing this Hell on Earth from being achieved. So it's quite a switch up from what the last story arc was showing, you know, with big battles with Johan and crew. All right, now finally, we have a new book, Dept.H, Department H, Depth, written by Matt Kindt, drawn by him as well, and his wife is doing the watercolor work. Now, this is a unique-looking book. Check it out, people. The watercolors really gives it a cool touch. But also what I found cool as well, that it actually has a nice cover. I haven't mentioned this before, but in recent months, it seems like the paper that Dark Horse has been using has been pretty shitty. I'm not technical enough to know what kind of grade and stuff the paper is, but it hasn't been very good. Also, this smells like an old school book. If you smell it, it's because the paper is like old school comic book paper. It's not glossy. It's like a matte finish, which I think really helps with the book. And it's like old school comic book paper material, which is kind of cool, kind of a cool throwback. People are describing this series as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea meets Clue. It is a straight-up murder mystery. Our main character here, oh my god, I just had her name, Mia, has been called upon to investigate a murder down in this underwater facility called Challenger Deep. It's a deep ocean laboratory. They're studying plants and creatures of the deep sea. She has been commissioned to find out what is going on with the murder down below. Now, I'm not going to say who was murdered. You do find out in this issue, and it's huge, and it's a strong connection to the character. Moreover, Mia has been advised by the agency that heads Challenger Deep to regard everyone she encounters as a suspect. So that's what really makes it cool about the whole underwater mystery type deal, is that every character you meet is a possible suspect. So it'll be interesting to see as this story goes on. It's proposed to be 24 issues. Each issue is a day, so that's kind of cool. So we know that this kind of takes place over about a 3.5 week span. It'll be really neat to see how that plays out. I'll read this issue and decide whether or not I'm going to stick with it, but it seems like an awful cool premise. I'm really enjoying that. I know Kindt's done a lot of work on mind management, I think it's called, which a lot of people seem to like. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. Now, what I found interesting was Matt here in the back kind of gives the readers a challenge to kind of stay on board with this series and read it, month to month, as opposed to trade waiting. And he said that there will be a lot of incentives to kind of stay on as a month-to-month reader as opposed to buying the trends. So he writes, "So I intend to reward you. Every monthly issue is going to have content you won't find in the collections. Art, stories, process, insights, a lot of stuff. Everything you find on the inside covers and back covers is going to be a unique monthly experience." Well, I mean, they put the letter page on the back page, so I don't know. I mean, that's, critical acclaim on the back, so who knows, man? I don't know. Hopefully it looks like next month there's going to be a pretty sweet wraparound cover. But I think that raises a good issue here. There should be more incentives to the monthly readers. Us guys who are paying cover price or close to cover price every month. And it seems like the trade waiters are the ones that reap all the rewards, right? It's usually a lot cheaper. You do get all the covers in the back. You actually get a lot of times the bonus material that he is talking about in the trades as opposed to the regular books. It'll be interesting to see. On the front page cover, you actually have the H2 deep dive suit fully explained. So are they going to keep that out of the trades? I mean, that's a pretty good incentive, I think. I mean, right now it seems like the incentives are pretty backwards, A lot of times for a lot of companies, it's like all these variant covers, and the more rare the variant cover is, the more fetty you got to pay up front, right? Look at the Star Wars stuff. It's just ridiculous how many variant covers come out each month with those books. So I'm kind of feeling that, he's proposing this. And, there should be more rewards for people that buy new every month. Of course, that's me. He's speaking directly to me. So hopefully we'll see if it gets better, if we're really going to get more insight into this and more wraparound covers and unique back covers and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And he also proposed that part of the fun of reading every month is that it's a murder mystery. So he says here, reading that month, every issue of this series is one day in the life of our main character. Reading that month by month is going to change your perception of events. Every detail will be more important. Every line will have more meaning. I'm hoping you'll live with these characters like I do over the course of a few years rather than a weekend. This is a murder mystery. There is an ending. There are small details in every issue that will lead you to the answers. Everything you need will be on the page. So you could wait a couple of years and read the entire thing in 1 or 2 sittings, or you can follow along with us and play the game. Read it every month, posit theories, conjecture, predict. Let's have some fun. And he says, don't forget to join the Facebook page where fans can interact and kind of post their theories of the whodunit. So that sounds like it could be fun, real fun experience. And maybe Matt will have some interaction with us, the readers, in that way as well. All right, guys, let me know what you think down below. That's the Hump Day Haul. This is the cover of the week. Obi-Wan and Anakin, pretty sweet. Let me know what you're liking, what you're disliking, and I hope to get back to the regular Wednesday Hump Day Haul, and that means I'll be seeing you guys this Wednesday. All right, guys, peace. Bye.